Okay, in our last video, the tool that we used was the let's click on there. It was the Bushu lookup. This was allowed us to take the radical of a particular character, a particular kanji, knowing the radical and knowing the number of strokes in the whole kanji, we're able to narrow our search down. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that in a previous video, the problem with finding the kanji is that there are well over 5,000 different kanji, and the search for them, you basically have to narrow down the possibilities of the characters until you find the right one. So that's the beauty of this tool, is this narrows it down. If you only have a Japanese dictionary like the Nelson Dictionary, then basically you have to kind of go through and through and through. And sometimes that actually has its advantage because you can see other things within other pages. But this tool really helps in doing that. Okay, so let's go on and let's look at another one of these tools. So we looked at the radical lookup, so that allowed us to choose multiple pieces of the kanji and find it. And we could have also thrown in the number of strokes of the character there, but this would give us different pieces. And I think for my purposes, I probably use the radical lookup more than any of the other tools. So this is an extremely powerful tool. Okay, not always foolproof, but pretty good. And then the Bushu lookup simply was one radical, only one. You couldn't use multiple radicals, and then the number of strokes in there. Okay. The third one we'll look at in this video is the Bushu Stroke lookup tool. Okay, and it says Control-Shift-B. So we'll go ahead and press on this button, and the pop-up window comes up, and it's a little bit different than the previous ones. So this one says, okay, if you look down here at the bottom part, it says how many strokes in the radical strokes, what the radical is, and then the total strokes in the character. Okay, so let's do two examples, two that we've already seen here. This one here, which was Kan, and that meant China, if you remember that, the Han Dynasty character. But again, let's pretend like we don't know what this is, and but we do have some working knowledge of kanji, and we say, oh, these three dots over here, that must be the radical. So we go over here and we say, well, the radical has how many strokes? Well, it has 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's go in here and we could type in 3, or we could use the up arrow to go 1, 2, 3. And as you do that, you'll notice that this gray bar here changes. Okay, so 1, those are the let's go back. 1, those are the radicals that have 1 stroke. These are the radicals that have 2 strokes, and these are the radicals that have 3 strokes. Okay, so it has 3 strokes, and I don't see the water radical in there, so we'll slide over here to the right until we find it, and there it is right there. So we'll click on this. Okay, and then so it says that's radical capital H. Okay, and then we have to say, okay, well, I need to know what the total strokes of this particular character are. So let's go ahead and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So in here, I'm going to type in 13, and we now get some matches. And notice that there are 28 matches to that. But fortunately, our match, the one we're looking for, is right there. Okay, And so we can then take that, we can get the info on that. There's our let me move that into the frame there. There's our meaning of China, Han, and Kan and Han, and that matches that one. So we're good to go. We insert that to the file. Oops. We insert it to the file from this one here, and there you go. Okay, so we have found it using the stroke or Bushu lookup. Okay, let's try another example of that. Move down to the next line, and let's use this one that we used in the previous video. And so we see this and we say, oh, well, gee, I wonder what that character means. We go to the stroke, the Bushu and stroke lookup tool. Move this over here. And now let's not assume anything. Let's say we don't know what the radical is for this, and see if we get the answer. Okay. So let's say that we don't assume that is the radical or the Bushu, but that one is right there, the grass radical that we talked about earlier. So how many strokes does that have? Well, it has 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we'll go over here and go 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's find now the grass radical. Do we see it yet? No, I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. Don't see it yet. Don't see it yet. Oh, there it is, way down at the end. Okay, so that's capital J according to this thing. All right. Now, how many strokes does this whole kanji have? Well, it has 1, 2, 3 from that radical there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll type in here 12, or we could use the up arrow until we get to 12. We don't want to type it out. Okay, so there we have 29 matches, and let's see if any of those match. I don't see it yet. Any of you guys see it yet? I don't see it. I don't see it. Did I miss it? Well, I don't see it. Okay, so what that would tell me is that, oh, gee, that must not be the radical. So that's fine. I'll clear that, and we'll take another guess. So maybe it's not the grass radical, maybe it's the strength radical or the power radical here on the right-hand side. Well, how many strokes does that have? Well, it has 1, 2. So we'll go over here and type in 2. And so we'll go through here and see, well, which one of these radicals is it? Oh, there it is, right there. And that's lowercase n. Okay. And at this point, you may already see it up here, but let's go through the whole exercise and say, okay, well, how many strokes did it have? Well, it had 12, if I remember correctly. 12. Type that in. And so that narrows it down from 20-something to 4. And so we take that guy, and we can get the info if we want. That means diligence. And we can insert that into the file or copy it to the clipboard. Okay. So that's the use of that tool. It can be helpful depending upon what you know. Sometimes you know one thing, sometimes you know another. Sometimes you guess wrong, in the case of guessing the grass radical first, but that's fine. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort and diligence. How about that? To get the answer. Okay. So that's this lesson. But before we go for this time, I wanted to show you one other thing that it didn't show you before, and that's this tool here that says Count Kanji. That's not the name of a vampire, Count Kanji. That's a tool that will count the number of symbols within a particular file. So I have this file here that we saw before. I think it's this one here. There we go. So this one has some kanji in it, and it has some kana in it, some hiragana, and it has some ASCII characters in it. So, well, how many of each of those are there? So now, why is this interesting? Sometimes, you know, it may be interesting to say within a file I have so many characters and so many kana and so many ASCII characters. So let's see how that works. So I select this file. I go up to Count Kanji and click on that, and it says all open files, or just this file. So we could do all open files, but we're going to just do this one. And let's go ahead and count this by clicking on the count button. And it says include in here the frequency, the on yomi, the kun yomi, and the meanings. Okay, and the on and kun I haven't talked about yet, but we'll get to that in a future video. Anyway, so let's go ahead and click on the count. And it says, okay, here's what we were counting, and if you notice, that's the thing behind this window that I can't move right now. And then this pops up and says, okay, total is 45. You have 4 kanji. Actually, I'll slide this down so we can see it. We have 4 kanji. We have 2 different kanji. So if you can kind of see behind here, I had kanji and kanji. So that was a total of 4 kanji. I had 2 different kanji. So I had kan twice and ji twice. How many kana did I have? Well, I had 3. I had kan, ka, n, ji. So that's 3 kana. 3 of them were hiragana. 0 were katakana. And then how many ASCII characters did I have? I had 36 ASCII characters and no JASCII characters, which we haven't talked about yet. And other is 2. And the other 2, I believe, are the kind of interesting parentheses that are used right there and right there. I think that's what they're talking about when they say other. So there's another interesting tool that you can use, especially if you need statistics about a particular JWP file. Okay, we'll see you next time.